Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is Lester Class, the host of the Community Pod, and I appreciate you for coming back for another episode. I got Nia in the building with an amazing brand called the Bad Bitch Academy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
So we basically just start off by asking, where are you from?
I'm from Roselle, New Jersey.
Roselle?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I went on your story. I saw that you guys were at a really nice restaurant. Oak? Fire Oak. It looked amazing. Just had to say that.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. So what was life like growing up for you?
What was life like growing up for me? I feel like I had a really fun childhood. I spent a lot of time with my cousins because, like, my mom, she's, like, real paranoid. She never really let me chill with people other than family, like, when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
So if I did chill with my friends, it was, like, at school or, like, maybe at the park or something, but, like, not on the weekends and, like, going to people's houses and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun in the house with my cousins, really, growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it about that.
So growing up, right, being with your cousins and growing up with like, I guess, more family oriented, do you feel like that's affected you in life now, where like you are closer with your cousins or speak to your cousins more than individuals though that don't spend time with their cousins as much?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, my cousins are like my siblings, so yeah, it's like definitely much closer than just like a distant cousin.
Got you. And to continue on, right? So what is the Bad Bitch Company? The Bad Bitch Academy?
It's a brand that I feel like it promotes women to feel like their best self. Like, self-confidence is really what I'm going for with it. I feel like the word bad bitch has such a negative connotation, like, associated with it. But, like, to be a bad bitch is really to just have confidence in yourself and to just do what you do and not really care about, outside energy. It's really just focusing on yourself and loving yourself, self-love, like.
So you mentioned self-confidence. You also mentioned the outside energy, where I wanted to ask, why are those aspects in your brand so important to you?
I feel like that's because that's how I live my life. Like, I'm big on my peace, so, like, I spend a lot of time just, like, around intentional energy. That's what I want to say. Like, very intentional with, like, where I spend my time and who I spend my time with. So, yeah. Because I feel like outside energy affects a lot of what goes on in your personal life. Like,
yeah, and I like that you mentioned that, because there's a lot of people that focus too much on that outside energy that it ends up being the energy that they give off as well. So we talked about the outside energy, so the self-confidence, right? Do you feel like these are things that you've implied in your life because of how there was a point in your life that it wasn't as prominent, where there was a lot of outside energy that did bother you, and now you're trying to live the opposite of it and not paying attention to it?
Honestly, I feel like my dad really raised me not to care about other people.
Okay.
So I've always really been, like, confident, even as a kid. Like, I've definitely always been confident, even if I was wrong, confident in the wrong.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, I feel like I was raised that way. So that's why it's easy for me to promote that and to spread that to the world.
So what advice would you give to someone who isn't, like, as confident as they would like to be?
Love yourself. Like you gotta actually talk to yourself. I feel like a lot of people may not talk to themselves, but I was the only child for 10 years, so like I spent a lot of time talking to myself. So talk to yourself, love yourself, hug yourself.
So I have to ask, if that's okay for me asking. So you mentioned that you were only child for about 10 years. What is being an only child like in such a, I feel like, an influential stage in your life, where from the moment that you were born to the year of you being 10 years old, it feels like there's a lot of influence during this period of time, especially since I believe that is elementary school, I believe, where it's like you're starting to figure things out, and now you have, you know, a sibling. So what is that like?
The transition,
The
or
transition, as well, we can start off with just being an only. What was it like being an only child for a while?
being the only child, I loved it. It did get boring though. Like I always wanted a sister. I ended up getting a brother. I love my brother. He's hilarious. Like I remember as a kid, I always wanted a sister to play with, but I had a bunch of god sisters.
Okay.
So I would play with them, do girly stuff with them. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like when you're the only child, I mean, all the attention really goes to you.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Do you feel like being an only child? Because I've done a little bit of how do I say this? There's because of school and everything, I've learned about I guess the psychology of only child as well as individuals with a lot of siblings. So do you feel like you were able, or you had to grow up maybe a little bit quicker than others because you always
yeah.
were around parents?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I feel like I was always pretty mature for my age.
Got it.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that, was there ever a point where, like, you said that there was times where it was boring, do you feel like it also benefited you into who you are today as well?
Yeah, it helped me be comfortable with self, and I think it's important for growth to be able to be okay by yourself.
Okay. And so now the transition into having your baby brother.
Now it's like when I gotta go someplace with my parents, I don't want to go without him. Like, he's hilarious. Like I just feel like whenever he's in the room, everybody worried about him because
Yeah.
he be wilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you excited at first when you heard it was a boy?
Honestly, I was just excited I was getting a sibling.
Okay.
Yeah, I was excited I was getting a sibling. So
Did you end up having to do anything like because I feel like, especially being such an older sibling to them, because I don't know how old you are now, but just to do a math, like when you're 20, or when
I'm 23.
So you're 23.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were 20, he was 10, or now that you're 23, he's 13.
Well, he's 12, but
He's 12.
He's gonna be 13 December.
Okay, so just like having that huge gap, I feel like you've gone through things in life that you're able to look back at him and be like, don't do this or do this.
Yeah.
So what is that like to be kind of like a figure for him?
It's hard. It's fun at the same time, but it gets hard because he doesn't want to listen to me. He doesn't. It's like you don't know whether you're in between being a sibling and a parent when the age difference is so big.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. Talking to him sometimes is like talking to a brick wall, but it has to be said. One day he'll look back and be like, "I told you so." I did my part.
Exactly.
As long as I do what I'm supposed to do, what he decides to do, I don't get too hung up on that, because at the end of the day, nobody got to deal with with his decisions. He has to deal with the choices that he decides to make.
Yeah.
So.
And I have to ask because I'm an older sibling myself, so I have one full blood and then I have two half blood, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure on older siblings because, like you said, like it's hard because we're also learning as we go, but we're the ones that have to make those mistakes, and like it sucks, but now we can avoid it for them, but they're not always gonna listen.
Yeah.
So what is it like having that pressure of being the older sibling, and maybe your parents being like, make sure that you show your brother the ropes and everything?
It's annoying. Like, I don't know. I feel because my parents definitely make me the third parent. Like, that's a definite. So it's just annoying. That's how I feel. It's very annoying, but I love the kid, so
Um, and I feel like that happens a lot. Like we
yeah.
get so upset with our younger siblings because it's like, yo, we're telling you like what's up, and
Yeah.
they never want to listen.
Yeah, so it's like honestly, I just be laughing at him. He makes his own decisions, and he's a boy, so he's
Hmm.
like hard headed, stubborn, and just
But I feel like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a younger sister,
Mm.
and I feel the same way about her. She's hard headed. She doesn't want to listen. We love each other, but we argue all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
that's
she never wants
exactly
to
how it is.
listen.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's the age.
Yeah.
Maybe it's really the age. They're going through puberty.
They're just the same way we were figuring ourselves out. They're figuring themselves out too.
Yeah.
But I love that we were able to speak about that aspect of being an older sibling, and especially you being an only child, and learning how to adapt and being excited about changing your life for your younger sibling that was on the way.
Yeah.
So just to get back into your clothing brand and everything, when did you find your passion for making clothing and creating it?
When did I find the passion for actually creating clothing? I would say February of 2022.
Okay,
So that's when I started the brand.
got it.
That's when I found my passion for actually doing it. But like I've always had a passion for fashion.
Okay, so where do you feel like you got that passion from for the fashion?
Definitely my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're big like on styling and everything.
Yeah.
So
Like,
if you don't mind me asking, what is they do this as a career as well?
they don't. They just do this like for fun. Just wake up and get dressed. Like that's just
Nice.
something that they love to do. But honest, like they do. They my dad's an entrepreneur. But my mom, she has like a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being the fact that your dad's an entrepreneur, did that motivate you to become an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like my dad, like, he groomed me into being an entrepreneur. I almost feel like I never, when I wanted to get like a job, he would always like be like, "What do you need to get a job for? Just figure out something that you could do to, make some money, but you don't need to get a job."
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then he's into real estate, so
Okay.
it's like that type of entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah, he's a hustler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got into real estate and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
nice.
like
No,
my passion is
it
for
was
fashion. Yeah.
Got it, got it. And was there anything in real estate that you were able to take from, or skills that you learned from being a real estate agent or working in real estate, that you're able to imply in clothing?
Definitely people skills, just like being able to work with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how important, and when you're doing something like this, is working with people?
It's the most important thing. Like it's your bread and your butter for your business. Like you have to know how to communicate with the people you're selling things to who like your brand.
So for when it comes to the Bad Bitch Academy, right, what do you feel like stands out that people love the most?
Probably the fact that I'm using profanity on
Okay.
a piece of clothing. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of bold.
Mm-hmm.
Like you won't really see that in your average store.
No.
So
Which is very true. But I gotta say that I feel like you said, that boldness and the fact that you're expressing it and using the word bad bitch in a positive term to be able to, like you said, be self-confident, as well as block out that outside energy that isn't bringing you that positive energy. So I think that's amazing that you're doing that.
Thank you.
I've been through your page, and I love the way that you're able to represent your clothing and represent women in your clothing.
Yes.
So how important is that to put on and to represent for women?
It's very important. It's really what I do it for. Like when I originally made the brand, I was only thinking about women.
Mm-hmm.
So I love women. I love like women empowerment, everything about it, because I feel like us ladies, we need to stick together. The guys, they stick together. Bros before hoes, all that crap. Like we gotta stick together, and I feel like females, like our egos be in the way.
Okay. And what do you mean by that when you talk about sometimes the egos can sometimes be in the way?
I feel like we get so caught up on like an image and like trying to be cool or be like, you know, stuck up that you don't show love where love is needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like love is the most important thing on the earth.
All right.
So
To go into the clothing aspect, what is something that you feel like you've been able to implement that's been able to bring you the success that you have now?
Can you reword that for me?
Of course. So, what is it that you brought to your brand or done for your brand that has been able to bring the success that it has?
Basically, how did I get to where I am right now?
Yeah.
I really just feel like staying true to myself, following my heart, my gut with what I wanted to do with the brand and like how I wanted to advertise it, who I wanted to model it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to advertising your clothing and everything, what advice would you give to somebody in a clothing business or maybe even like an entrepreneur? What advertising or advertising styles would you suggest?
I wouldn't suggest the style. I would just suggest always remembering that presentation matters. Presentation it's key. Like if it catches the eye, it's gonna catch the eye first. So it needs to look the part. That's what I feel like. It needs to be something that is, you know, clean, direct, to the point. And I love creative things too. If it's gonna be something that's not simple and clear, direct to the point, then something creative out the box that catches people's attention.
Okay. So have you ever done any like pop-up shops?
I have never been a part of a pop-up shop for my brand,
Okay.
but I've done it with my boyfriend like multiple times.
Got it. Would you ever do it for your brand?
I would, yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like pop-up shops do for brands?
I feel like it brings out a different crowd of people. It brings out people from wherever. Like you don't know who's gonna pop up.
Exactly.
And like it and see it.
Exactly. And I think that these pop-up shops, they allow you to also interact with the customer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times like people do online stores and they just buy it online, but they're getting to see the face behind the brand.
Yeah.
Which is what I try to do. Which I want people to see you and what you've been able to create.
Yeah, that's why I even wanted to come on here, because I know I don't really show my personality a lot on social media.
Why do you feel that is?
For a long time, I had this thing where I just felt like people don't deserve to know like who I am, or like, you know, like don't deserve to experience me, because, you know, I love myself, and, you know, I don't feel like everybody's going to love me the way I love myself. But, you know, I had to get out of that. But I have to get out of that. Like, I feel like I do need to start showing my personality on social media, because it helps. Like, you know, it helps you connect with people. So.
And I want you to know that the fact that you are valuing yourself, because some people might view that as, oh, she's I guess like narcissistic, or like she just wants to be to herself. But I completely agree with what you're saying, because there's people that if you post yourself online, they're ready to start drama.
Yeah.
They're ready to look at you, or they're ready to like pick out your flaws. And it's very low life activity, and I just think it's very stupid for people to do that. So I think valuing yourself and sometimes putting yourself and keeping certain things off of social media is perfect, because like you said, not everybody deserves to get to know who you are. When it comes to a brand, I do believe that showing your best self is always good, but I also think that what you were doing or what you are doing isn't bad at all as well, because valuing and not hiding, but not everything needs to be on social media. You know what I'm saying? So you're completely right, and I'm also happy that that you came on here to show more of your personality. So to continue on, right? So you started the brand. Was there anything before the brand that you wanted to do that you never were able to pursue, or like maybe you had other passions as well?
Yeah, I wanted to model.
Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely was pursuing modeling, and styling also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually find it kind not fun. I think it's a little funny. Lamia actually, I think I have a. I don't think I have it anymore. But when I asked Lamia for a photo of her brand, I think she actually sent me a photo of you in her brand.
Yeah, I
So
modeled for her brand. That's how I met her.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So what was it like modeling? So for people that don't know Lamia, Lamia was a previous guest that I had on,
Mhm.
which connected me with you. So what was it like working as a model for another brand?
It's fun.
Yeah,
Like I enjoyed myself. Her shoot was actually one shoot that I loved. Like
yeah.
it was definitely fun. It was an all day thing, but it was worth it. Pictures came out fire, but working with another brand, it's fun. I love doing it, especially when the clothes are dope and you get to, you know,
The rocket and everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So with all that being said, the fact that I feel like I don't know if you want to, but the modeling aspect, right? Like, what should a clothing brand imply? Not imply, but um, I guess incorporate in their I don't know the correct terminology for it, but the modeling experience. What should a clothing brand incorporate when models come in, and how should they be treated?
Oh, like okay, so like okay, I get what you're saying. Um, Honestly, it depends on the brand and the type of shoot that you're having, but
Okay.
like all in all, I just feel like you should respect your model's time, especially if you're not like paying, because you know
Mhm.
some things are like collab work, and then some is actual work where you get paid.
Mhm.
For collab work, I feel like you should definitely respect your model's time and like show appreciation, whether it be just giving them what they modeled. If you can't do that, then you know show appreciation in a different way.
Mhm.
Thank them,
Yeah.
um, tag them so that they can get you know more views from people who may need models. And if you're going to pay your model, I feel like definitely it should be more on the professional side than if you're gonna be paying.
Yeah.
If it's an all day shoot, make sure your models are fed, you know, like get a little bit of a break and just treat them with human decency, simple human decency.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I have to say, like, to just go back a little bit, growing up, you've had a lot of, um, it seems to be there's a lot of positive influences. You've had your father who's always taught you to be confident. You've had a mom and dad who like incorporated the style. You've had a family oriented family from a very young age, like, and you love your brother very much from what you said. Like, what do you like? How does it feel to kind of have like, I don't want to say a foot in the door because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to be able to come from like, it seems like such a loving family that's grown you into who you are.
Okay, so like what's the question?
So what is it like having the loving family that you have, and how has it grown you to who you are now?
I feel like my family has definitely put me in a position to be able to have a successful life. I feel like that's a blessing. Like not everybody comes from that. Some people have to start, you know, with like completely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people, definitely tilt my hat to them because like even having the help that I have now, it's still hard, you
Yeah.
know, doing a small business by yourself, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a blessing. Definitely thank God for that all the time.
Okay. So like, when you first started your business, what was one of the hardest things that you had to overcome?
Mm, that's a good question. Not being able to start where I wanted to start and how I wanted to start. I just had to start with what I had and do what I could do with what I had.
Okay. Like, would you be able to go a little bit more into that if possible?
Like,
Because I I get what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying because, for example, for myself, I know that my studio isn't completely how I would like it to be when I first started.
Yeah.
Um,
But you just had to start.
exactly.
That right there. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like some people hold off because they can't do it exactly how they want to do it right then and there. But if you have an idea, you have to go for it. Like, it doesn't matter the circumstances, what you have. You could have very little money. Start with what you could start with because starting is what matters. Like, your business is gonna grow, your money's gonna grow, your ideas are gonna grow, everything's gonna grow.
Exactly, and everything changes over time.
Yeah.
So that idea that you had in the beginning might not be the same idea that you have later on.
Exactly.
But it's all about growth, like you said.
And starting, just putting your foot in the water and just doing it.
Do you feel like that's what scares a lot of people? The starting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It scared me. So.
And how do you feel like it scared you?
It's like just not knowing where to start, who to go to, how do you, just a million questions of like how to do it.
And how does it feel to look back at that? Because sometimes I feel like as people who work hard and go hard for what they want in life, they sometimes forget to look back and appreciate the struggles they had in the beginning. So what does it feel like looking back at those struggles and being able to say, look where I'm at now?
It feels good. It feels great to know that I started and it's growing, I'm watering it and it's growing.
Yeah. So like to continue on and go and talk about your brand, like what do you feel like is one of your favorite moments as during the process of being creating the Bad Bitch Academy?
One of my favorite moments.
Favorite moments of all time.
Definitely photo shoots.
Yeah. So what I have to ask, what is it about photo shoots that's like so like exciting? I feel like correct me if I'm wrong. I could be speaking. I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like it's just like all the different faces.
It's what's the magic that could be created on the camera through poses and like the emotions and everything that you could just feel looking at a picture at the art that you created. I feel like that's like, I don't know, it makes me happy.
Okay. And I have to ask, I don't feel like I've asked this before, but what is that feeling like when you publish your first drop?
It's nerve-wracking because you don't really, I mean, I know I like it. I don't know if everybody else is going to like it. So it's like, it's nerve-wracking because at the end of the day, I mean, you want it to sell. So it's like, you got to care about the people.
Exactly.
So.
And I feel like that's probably, I feel like there's two hard things when it comes to like the hardest things when it comes to clothing brand. Obviously I don't have one myself, but I feel like starting it is probably the hardest. And then that nerve-wracking moment of pressing that button and going, okay, it's alive.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's exciting also.
Yeah. What is it? What was that? How quick or like, what was it like getting your first, how do I say this? First sale?
It definitely made me happy because it was like, you sold one. It's like, okay, so like when I originally started, it wasn't even a brand. It was kind of just like, let me just make this and see like if I like it, and I'll sell a couple too, just because.
Got it.
And once I sold out of what I first dropped, it was like, okay, like maybe I should just
do more.
Just do this, yeah. Like, the people like it, I like it, we like it. Let's do it.
Okay. I have to ask about the characters. So, how did the characters come out?
Okay, so when I was thinking about the design, I was like, I want my own Bratz dolls, because like as a child, I used to love playing with dolls. Like I loved Barbies, Bratz. Like I had a big doll house. I used to play with my god sister. It was like crazy. So I wanted my own Bratz dolls to like, just depict, bad bitch
Okay.
energy.
Gotcha.
And I can't draw, sadly. I wish I could.
Okay.
That's one thing I really wish I could do is draw. But I had an artist. I described to her what I wanted to see, like, in detail, and she did it. And that's the same thing that I did with Rachel for this upcoming design,
nice.
too. So.
And what is it like working with like a fashion designer who creates everything from scratch? Because there's a lot of people that just not to throw shade on other brands, but there's a lot of brands that don't go from scratch, that they just buy the shirt, they print it on, and that's their shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everyone starts somewhere. You know what I mean? But to be able to, progress and continue to grow your brand and evolve, what's it like working with the manufacturer or someone who's doing it from scratch?
It's it's definitely a better experience than working with like a manufacturer who doesn't, because when I first started, it was just like I was going to a manufacturer in Philly and they were just, putting the print and the embroidery on there, but they weren't, I was buying blanks.
Okay.
So for this, I worked with a bigger manufacturer who actually made this from scratch, like you said, and working with them, it was definitely better.
Okay.
It's definitely a better experience and a great relationship to have, because when you work with the people who can make it from scratch, you can get anything done. Now you could do anything.
Exactly. There's so much more to be done.
Yeah.
Than just, because I feel like with blanks, right? You can. I've never seen it done, but like if you really want to get technical, you could cut holes into it. You can just screen print it, and that's it. When you're doing it from scratch, there are so many different aspects that you can incorporate to make your brand so much better.
Yeah, you could add like whatever you want to add your little touch, and you're good. You can make whatever you want. So I love working with the bigger manufacturer that makes it from scratch. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So like, what is something that is there something in life that, how I say this? Matter of fact, scratch that. Totally. I want to ask a different question.
Okay.
So when it comes to clothing brand, how important is to have quality over the quantity?
To me, quality is the most important thing.
Okay.
Because when I'm shopping, that's what I'm looking for. Like, I'd rather quality over anything. I'll pay for quality. Like,
and like, this is my experiences now. Ever since I've completely seen, I guess like the amount of effort individuals like yourself put into their brands, I have so much of a better feeling purchasing from a brand like yours than going to the mall and buying something there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The reason I'm getting into this is because I want to ask you, when you go into like a mall, do you still go to malls and everything like that? When you go into a mall, did you have a different feeling ever since you started your brand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, absolutely. First of all, I hate going to the mall. I hate going to the store. Like, I'd rather online shop. I hate going to the store because, like, my mom's shopaholic. She used to keep me in the store against my will. So I hate going to the mall. But when I do go to the mall now, it's like I'll see something that I like, and like now I'll check the price, right? And now I could see the worth of it. Like, I can actually see like how much they got this made for, and now they're trying to charge this. I could see if it's even worth, if the quality is even worth the price. Like, so it's just like the mall just be turning me off. I also like to shop online because things are more exclusive.
Okay.
And I like shopping from like other small businesses like on Instagram and everything because it's more exclusive.
Exactly.
Like,
and I personally haven't started doing that online stuff for smaller businesses. I think it's just because I'm afraid of sizing.
Okay.
But I definitely need to get into it, because the one thing that we don't have here that we can do in person is like getting smaller businesses from different outside the US.
Yeah.
Because there are some fire like places outside of the US that I really want to purchase from.
Yeah.
But I've never done it because of the sizing. I think I have to like break that barrier and just do it.
Yeah, definitely. You have to, because I've definitely like, went out on faith and just purchased something
Mm-hmm.
that like I actually really really liked. Like some of these small brands out here got some better quality than Forever 21.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And at this point, Forever 21's quality is garbage. Like,
yeah,
honestly, like,
fast fashion.
yeah, exactly. And it's just the fact that like I go to like Menlo Mall,
Me too.
and so you go to Strong. You ever been to Strong?
Yeah,
I love going there, and
yeah.
I want to interview the guy, but we'll so if you're watching, then we can do so. But
You should go. You should just go to the store. Go in there. Yeah.
I've spoken to him before, but I haven't heard a response back. So
Okay.
we'll see. But I can say that I do enjoy going to the store because it's small businesses, and you can just see the difference in quality.
I
when
went in
walking
there and
there.
got some stuff too.
Exactly, and then you walk into like a Forever 21 or
Yeah, you just like,
any
man.
store. It's pointless. Like I go in there strictly to go to actually two stores. I go to Primetime, and then I go to Strong. But the reason I do that is because Primetime, they have older clothing, the vintage stuff that are better quality, and then you have Strong with the newer brands and smaller businesses with better quality.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody's out there that's in the area, you should definitely shop there.
Yeah, I would go to both. So
Yeah, they're amazing brands. I mean, amazing stores, and they promote the same thing that that we promote, which is like supporting each other and everything. So to continue on, like, how do I say this? So, what is something that you want to incorporate in your brand that you haven't been able to yet?
definitely. So I've been making clothes more on the cozy side.
Okay.
I want to definitely get into the going out, the mini skirts, the tight dresses, and I want to get out to. I don't even know what to call those type of clothes.
Would you say high end?
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was thinking. Like like high fashion.
Like and I feel like with that, like you start getting more of your niche, where like you're pulling and you're showing these people that you aren't just a brand who's gonna make shirts. You're not just a brand that's gonna do hoodies, because there's a lot of brands that stick to just shirts and hoodies.
Yeah, just designs on hoodies. But I want to do everything. Like I want to do everything.
So what is it that inspires you?
My inspirations come from a lot. Just being alive and experiencing life on a day-to-day. I get inspirations from everything, honestly.
Okay. So, what do you feel like inspires you in the case not of just the clothing, inspires you to wake up and do what you're doing?
Definitely the life that I want to live, the life that I see in the future. That's what inspires me.
So what does that look like to you?
Definitely successful in the fashion world. Seeing my clothes everywhere, everyone wanting to feel like a bad bitch, just inspiring the girls all over the world to just love themselves and be a bad bitch. Like,
got it. And like, so I wanted to ask, I've never asked this either, but have you ever seen that Netflix show where like they create the clothing from scratch, the fashion designers?
What show is it?
Oh my god, I don't remember what it was called.
I don't think I have though.
No, I definitely would recommend. I'll tell you. I'll look it up after.
Okay.
But there's an individual by the name of Nigel, who is a fashion designer. I believe he's not from New York. I believe he's from Atlanta. And he makes amazing clothing.
Okay.
And I definitely think it would be a nice show if you ever want to check it out.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. To get back into it, like, who is somebody that you look up to in the fashion world that, not that inspires your brand, but it has inspired you to go ahead and pursue this?
She's not only in like the fashion world. She's like in the music industry, acting, everything, directing. Tiana Taylor.
Okay, yeah.
I love Tiana Taylor.
She's awesome. She is
Yeah.
awesome. I think that she's done so much.
She's amazing. So.
And she's, I've actually done I do this trivia Thursday thing on my
Yeah,
page.
I
So
saw
I did
you post.
Tiana.
Yeah, I saw you did that. I was like, yeah, I love Tiana Taylor.
She's awesome. I love the fact that she's so herself in everything that she does, and her style is just so different.
It's her. Like,
exactly. And it just fits her. And I just love the fact that I know I put one of the questions where like she snuck a Chick-fil-A sandwich into the Megala, and it's just like it's so genuine, it's so real.
yeah,
It's just
like what can you do about it?
exactly.
What can you really do? That's why I love her. Like, she's definitely an inspiration. She is, she gives that bad bitch energy. Like, definitely.
Exactly. So, what is something that how do I so damn I completely lost the question. So what advice would you give to someone who feels like their dreams are out of reach when it comes to anything, when it comes to being an entrepreneur?
Your dreams are never out of reach. They're only out of reach if that's what you think in your mind, because whatever you believe in your mind, that's what's going to happen in your reality.
Exactly.
So,
and to get back into questions for you, where do you feel like you found your style?
Where do I feel like I found my style?
Yeah, because I feel like, especially like I said, we go through a developmental stage, growing up and everything, trying to figure out who we are.
Yeah.
Where is it that you found, or what would you call your style in clothing and how you wear it?
I like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Even when I'm going to some place where I have to be formal, I like to add that hint of comfortability to make me feel comfortable. So I would say like my style is really just on some chill
vibe.
Yeah.
Got it.
Definitely.
And so you said that you mentioned that you're from
Roselle.
Do you feel like the community in Roselle was very supportive in your clothing brand? Or was it more outside communities?
Honestly, I would say more outside.
Okay.
More outside community. But that's definitely expected,
Yeah. Do you feel like that happens because of I feel like there's a lot more individuals who don't know you're willing to support you than people that do know you want to support you.
Yeah.
And what is your take on that?
It goes back to ego.
Okay.
Like, I feel like people don't. It's hard to show love when you having a hard time really loving yourself. So you may see somebody who is doing something, great for themselves, and y'all both come from the same thing, and it's a little bit hard for you to, maybe support them because you having a hard time supporting yourself. So that's why I just feel like everybody should just, learn to love themselves, and then it'll be easier to just show love to everybody else. Because when you comfortable with yourself, it's just that much easier to pour into somebody else.
Exactly. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to know your take on this, but I feel like once you enter this, I don't want to call it realm, but like this community of entrepreneurs, it is so different from the community that you grew up with thinking that no one's going to support you.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're an entrepreneur and you're working with other entrepreneurs or collaborating with people that may not even be in the same field as you, it's just so much more like loving and caring and support. Like, do you feel like that same thing?
Yeah, definitely. Because like we all doing our thing. We out here in the field. We put our feet in the water.
Exactly.
So.
And I feel like it's just a community that, because speaking from a podcaster, I've really not been able to speak to other podcasters, but definitely the people I've sat down with, we're able to speak afterwards or even support each other after, and it's an amazing feeling to go to events and see people and be like, yo, I know who that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just love, and it's not like, oh, I like their brand, but I'm not gonna tell them I like their brand. You know what I mean? It's just real, like, oh, I like the way that you embroidered this. I like the way that you made your own Bratz dolls. And it's just an amazing community. Do you feel like that's the way that it is?
Yeah, definitely.
What is an experience when you came into this community that you didn't expect?
Honestly, I didn't come in expecting anything.
Okay.
So it's like I can't even answer that
No,
question.
it's fine. From personal experience, I walked into this thinking that um it was gonna be very difficult. There was gonna be
Mm,
very hard to find people to sit in the seat that you're sitting in,
mm,
because I didn't feel that many individuals would understand what I'm trying to do and the message I'm trying to come across with.
mm.
So I think that was a big fear of mine, that no one was gonna understand that I was actually being professional about this and being serious about it, especially in a field like podcasting, because where I've had women like Lamia and other individuals who are, for, I don't want to say we're afraid, but there's a stigma with podcasting where a lot of men downgrade women and what
Mm,
they're trying to do. That's how I feel. I feel like it's very
yeah.
big for women, and it's hard for women to get their stories
Hmm.
out there and it be a genuine individual asking them genuine questions about what they're doing.
Yeah. I feel like that's with anything though, not
Mm-hmm.
even just like sitting here and get going on a podcast, even going and working with being a model and going and working with certain photographers and not knowing if they really just trying to be professional and just here for the art, or
Mm-hmm.
are you here to just make money, or are you here to just be a creep, like.
Exactly.
So that's why I say us women, we need to love ourselves, love
Mm-hmm.
each other, stick together, like, because it's just better that way.
Exactly. And do you feel
Like,
like there's how do I say this? There's a lot of support from other women in this community of entrepreneurs and everything.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And what does that feel like to have a bunch of women support each other?
I love that because that's really what I do it for.
Okay.
So I love that. I love to see all the women just showing love and just like, and being able to wear the Bad Bitch Academy and love themselves. And now you feeling good, you got this on, now you could go and show love to somebody else.
Exactly.
So
Okay. So we are coming close to the end. I'm going to ask you 3 more questions. What do you feel others should implement in their lives to allow them to be happier?
pray. You got to talk to God, because whatever that you're feeling that's making you feel unhappy, to get to the root of it, you got to sit with yourself and God, and you got to really pray on that.
Okay.
Like, if you believe in whatever you believe in, I believe in God. I'm more of a spiritual person than religious. I mean, I was raised Christian,
Okay.
but I'm a little, I don't know, religion has a bit of a question mark for me right
Yep.
now, but I believe in God. I definitely have a relationship with God. I've experienced God, like, for myself. So I'm here to tell you to pray, for real.
Okay. And what is it that motivates you to wake up every morning and do what you do?
Knowing that as soon as I open my eyes, I got a whole day ahead of me full of experiences, because I value my time. So like I would like to wait, when you ask me like what do I see my future
Mm-hmm.
looking like, how I live my life, waking up and doing what I want to do every single day. Like waking up and just being free
Okay. How important is it to love what you do?
is important. It's the most important thing, because if you're going to, whatever you do to make money, you're going to have to wake up and put your time to that every single day in order to, get the money to put the work in. So you gotta, what you put in your energy towards, it has to be fulfilling,
Okay.
or you're gonna feel drained at the end of every day, and you're gonna dread waking up for the next day because you're not doing something that's fulfilling you.
Okay. So I actually have 2 more now. I came up with 2. Um, I started implementing this question when the newer guests. A lot of people usually ask you or may ask a guest, "What would you tell your past self?" Right? I want you to give a message to your future self, because a lot of people don't realize, but these videos that I'm gonna leave up, these posts that I'm gonna put on Instagram, even just to get to the nitty gritty, your Instagram page is going to be up there for 5 years from now for you to look at and be like, look at how much I've grown. So what message can you give to your future self?
I'm glad you stayed on that path, girl. I'm glad that you did what you said that you were going to do.
Okay. Last but not least, what do you want the world to know about Nia?
I love cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies. If you know me, then you know.
Everybody just get chocolate chip cookies and bring it to her. Anytime you see her, just get her.
No, for real.
Like, just chocolate chip?
Yeah, I love chocolate chip cookies.
Cold or hot?
Hot.
Hot.
Fresh out the oven.
Yeah.
And if I go to Miss Fields, can you heat that up, please?
Like, damn, we're about to go off on a tangent. But my favorite chocolate chip cookies got to be from Chick-fil-A. Like, if we're talking fast
I never
food,
had their cookie because, like,
fire.
nah, I feel like the chocolate chips, they too big for me. Like,
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm a real particular person. I'm real, like.
You like McDonald's?
I like McDonald's.
Okay.
Heat those up. Let me get 3 chocolate chip cookies. Heat it up, please.
So have you ever had the Chick-fil-A?
No.
Please try it.
I'll try it.
I traded it. It is more expensive, I'm not going to lie.
How much is it?
I don't even remember. That would be some fat ass shit if I did remember. But it's only one. You can only buy one. That you only can buy one, but they don't come in 3s like McDonald's does. But I just feel like they're always warm and it's just bro.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I love food. So
okay. Well, we are at the end of the podcast. The last but not least, the camera is now all yours. If there's anything you got going on, any advice you want to give, the camera is now all yours.
Anything I got going on, I got my new drop that's about to drop. It's should be dropping the beginning of next month. So stay tuned to that at the Bad Bitch Academy on Instagram. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I always say that I couldn't do this without you because I'm able to tell your story through my podcast, and that's all I want to do in my life. I want to be able to give other people that platform to be able to show their true colors and show that it's more than just a brand. It's a how do I say this? I don't want to say lifestyle, but there's just more to that brand. All the hard work you put in, all those hours that you are sometimes staying up at night because there's something that you really want to do. You know what I mean? So it's just beautiful to be able to have people who genuinely love what they're doing and are working hard to get there. So that's my main focus. I want people to get on here and I want it to be individuals who are really working hard, who are not saying that they are, but are actually doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can say but never do. So Thank you for being here. It means the world to me. I'm going to go ahead and do my outro. This is the Community Pod. Thank you for coming for another episode. Nia, thank you for being here. It means so much to me.
Thank you.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, press the post notifications button, like, comment your favorite part of the episode, comment your favorite cookie.
Yeah, comment your favorite cookie.
And where you get it from.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on any audio platform, please leave a review. It allows other people to find my podcast. If you're new here, welcome to the Community Pod. And last but not least, if there's anybody there who's watched all my episodes or watched a few of them and stick around and enjoy my content, I appreciate you. I couldn't do it without you. All of us together, my guests, the people that have on, the people that watch, you all are what make up the community. So thank you so much. This is the Community Pod, and we are out. Peace.
That was good.